depending on the complexity of your project folder can fill very quickly with a lot of items that you may not need in the final product. Perhaps you're creating a spot from a bunch of B-roll that you've gotten from yourself and other producers. Or maybe you want to make a donut or a template to reuse some other time. Or maybe you were in a rush, you had a quick turn project and all your media is still on the P2 card. These are all good reasons to consolidate the media that you actually need into a new project folder. In this way, the resulting project folder only has what you need. Now you can then take that project folder and put it on a shared drive, burn it to a disk and give someone. All of these situations can be aided using Adobe's built-in Program Manager. Okay, so we're in Premiere Pro now, and we've got a completed sequence here. We actually have two. We have an original sequence, and then a cut down version as a 1-minute update. This is a shorter version that somebody else is going to post-produce into a 1-minute update. That's the example that we'll use here, but there are a lot of reasons for doing it, as we talked about a few minutes ago. Also, we can look up here and we see all these lists of clips that we brought into this project. But here in the sequence, we see that we didn't use all of those clips. Okay, so when I make a copy here, I don't want all of those clips that were in this project. I only want the clips that I used. Okay, so to do this, we're going to load the project manager from the project menu. And when that loads, you'll see this interface here, which will list all of the sequences that exist in our project. Now, you can do this with multiple sequences, but in our case, and in most cases, we just want to select the one sequence that we want to ship out, basically copy and give to somebody else. So in this case, I'm going to deselect original and only select the 1-minute update version. Now in the resulting project, you've got two options here. You can create a trim project, or you can collect files and copy those. Now a trim project, the difference there is I am going to only keep the portion of a clip that I used in my story. So if I had a 2-second shot of a person walking through a room, I'm only going to keep that 2-second plus whatever handles we add to it. And you can see we can tell it, okay, add 60 frames on each side. But in many cases, we want the entire clip to give some options to the person doing the post-production on your story or your spot or whatever. So I don't want just the 2 seconds of the person walking through the room. I want the full 8 seconds of him opening up the door, walking in, and then exiting the frame. Giving the post-producer as many options as we can, but only of the clips that we decided to use. So for most cases, you're going to select Collect Files, which is just select the files that we use in a project and copy those to a new location. You have some options here. You can go ahead and take all of these options. Basically, preview files are renders. It will speed up the post-production if the renders are already done. Audio conform files are similar to renders. It puts it in the proper format for your sequence. And then this is a matter of renaming. So if you've renamed your clips, it will also rename the copied media files to match those and make it a little bit easier for you later. Now, this is really important. Where are we going to send it to? Well, in many cases, what I recommend is you send it to a new folder within your project folder. If you know the destination, you can send it somewhere else. You can send it directly to somebody else's media drive. If you're all connected that way, you can put it to a shared drive. You can put it off to an external hard drive. But in many cases, it's probably best to just go ahead and put it on your media drive in your projects folder within your projects. And you can put it right in your project folder, and it's going to create a new folder in here, as you'll see in a minute, and you'll be able to see, oh, this is the copied project. And also keeps everything tidy by putting it in one place. So we'll go ahead and select this folder as the source. Again, really important you select this path. Now if you look here, it's going to show you, of course, how much disk space is left, but more importantly, it's going to show you if you've saved and how much you've saved from the original size. We started with 2.5 gigs. It says the resulting project size was 2.1. We can calculate and see if it was accurate, if we've made any changes here. In this case, we're saving for almost a half a gigabyte. It really depends on the complexity of your project. The bigger projects, you'll see a huge savings in size here in your end project when you're only cherry picking what it is you used in your project. Okay, once you've made all your selections, you simply click OK, and you can see it's going to go ahead and copy the media. Now keep in mind, it's actually making copies of the media to a new project. So you can delete the other ones, you can do whatever else you wanted with the other media once you've made the copy, and it won't affect this one. This is also particularly useful if you've shot on a P2 card and you had to turn this project really quick to get it out and exported. Let's say you finish 2 hours later and the story's gone. You don't want to leave all that media, let's say, on the P2 card. We want to free up that card. You can use the project manager just as we have here and make a consolidated new project with the media now from the P2 card copied directly to our project folder like we wanted to originally but didn't have time. If we go over to Windows Explorer, we can see what actually happened. We'll navigate to our M drive, open up our project, and you'll see that in here we still had our archive and our media and our project, as well as the Adobe folders that are created automatically. And now we'll see a new one here. This is the collected and copied new project. So if we open this up, we can see that in here we've got our card 1, which was our media that we had before, a cache which really isn't used for anything in our purposes. You can see the narration has gone over that we had before. It looks very much like the one we had before. But if we go into it and we'll open up this project, you'll notice that it doesn't have all of the clips that we had before. If you remember when we were in the other project, this went on for several screens of all the clips that we had shot and imported. Now it only has the clips in here that we used in our resulting story. So everything that we needed is now in here, and we can give it. That media is intact. Everything we needed is in that new project folder. And what we can do is we can give this project folder, if we go back here, this copied project folder, we can now move on to a shared drive, put onto some kind of external media, maybe a separate hard drive, or even if I'm connected to somebody else's computer, I can drag this over to theirs. They can open this project and pick up right where we left off.